treat everybody like and why have I been successful over these 25 years? Because you have never met anybody like me, and you probably never will, because you're a But I'm your last bet, kids. I'm it.
Hello and welcome to The Nexus. Today we're joined by Dan Peña, aka the $1 trillion man. He's known for making hundreds of millions of dollars for himself and for being one of the best-known business success coaches in the world. He's also known for his explosive temper and utterly crushing his mentees in the hope of making them tougher and more successful. We'll hear from the man himself in a moment, but first, here's a quick look at Dan Peña in action.
I don't you like me. I sure want you to love me. I tell you the cold, hard facts. You have wasted your whole life. Good things come to those who go out and earn it. For a kid to try to kill his teacher in grade school, I've come a long way. And I'm not here to insult your ethnicity, but I will. I'm not here to insult your gender, but I will. I've got a lot of experience. And when I tell you the end's coming, the tsunami's coming, I know what I'm talking about. You're a lazy and you're gonna breed lazy. I work like a dog. Bill Gates doesn't hang. Warren Buffett doesn't chill. Jeff doesn't hang. Steve didn't hang. Dan doesn't chill. Only losers hang. Only losers chill. We're training you to be in the top 0.00001%. When you can take a meathead with an 80 IQ and have him walk away with $70 million in 7 months, you are God. I'm the closest God thing to a savior you're ever gonna meet. In the last 15 to 20 years, man, what has happened to us? I can see the future, and the future for some of you in this audience looks terrible. Get knocked down, get up again. Got knocked down, got up again. Got knocked down, get up again. You hang around with cripples, you learn how to limp. Almost anything that causes chaos is good for us. Just shut up.
No way.
And if you don't like it, get out now. I don't give a you understand me? Do me a favor, fat ass. Drop out. I am the come again. Not one on this planet has done what I've done.
Dan Peña, most of that was just bleeped expletives. For a rich man, you are very, very angry. What makes you so angry?
I believe that whoever put us on this earth didn't put us to be part only all of ourselves. I've never seen a high-performance person that wasn't full-time, and I've hardly run into any full-time high-performance people or trying to be high-performance. Mm-hmm. Everybody has asked me over the years, not everybody, I shouldn't say it, a lot of people have asked me over the years, can you do this part-time?
Mm-hmm. So you've got to go at it 100%, but does
more
that
than 100.
require rage?
Because it works.
Okay.
I started out doing these for free. Mm-hmm. Back in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. I went to grammar schools, kindergarten, et cetera, et cetera. I filled up 9,000 people in a airport auditorium for free. Mm-hmm. Results were poor. I couldn't keep anybody accountable. And the more I've given them over the decades, and the higher the price has gone, the more success. Mm-hmm. The more accountability, when you've got skin in the game, I can hold you accountable. When you don't have any skin in the game, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to hold you accountable.
I didn't want to get to this subject just now, but I'm going to because you brought it up. You started coaching in 1993.
Correct.
You say you hate everyone. You wish most people would just drop dead. Why then do you waste your time, your remaining years on this earth, I've heard you say that yourself, helping these so-called meatheads, in your words?
Because of a group of 10 million meatheads, I'll find 20,000 that are worth saving. And more importantly, selfishly, I started coaching in 1993 with a goal. And the goal was to be the $1 trillion man. I only realized it after 25 bloody years. Mm-hmm. I thought I'd do it 4 or 5 years, maybe 10. Yeah. 25 years. Jeff went And I remember when Jeff started his company, went to space in 21. Yeah, Bezos.
Right.
Went to space in 21 years. Okay.
Right.
It took me 25 years because I had no idea what a rare commodity self-esteem was.
You said to save them. Why do you want to save people who are worth saving? Why?
Because some are worth saving.
Oh, when you say worth saving, you actually don't mean spiritually. You mean,
No,
financially.
No. Yeah.
So you enjoy discovering people who can make serious money.
I live vicariously off them.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's like a permanent experience for me.
Okay.
When you mentioned it in the clip, when you take some meathead and in less than a year produce from nothing to 70 million, who else can do that?
Okay. Before you jump onto your next expletive, look, in that package, in that report.
I wasn't going to say a bad word.
I hope not. In that report, we got a lot of your energy, but we didn't get a lot of your biography. I have a few questions here.
Sure.
I would like ideally one-word answers, or as short as you can. They are designed to be. I'm going to go through 10 of them, and then we're going to get on to the substance.
Is this like rapid fire?
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Okay. How rich are you?
You mentioned it in the clip. That suffices. That suffices.
You can't help.
I'm not a billionaire.
You're not a billionaire, but you have how much?
Hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of millions. Okay. You created $1 trillion of wealth for others. True or false?
True.
Wow. You believe you're the last alpha male?
More than $1 trillion.
More than $1 trillion. I imagine it's $1 trillion and change now.
No, well, it's multiple trillions now.
Come on.
Yes.
So you're the multi-trillion-dollar man. All
But
right, well,
that doesn't sound right.
no, it's too wordy. Maybe it's too much even for you. You believe you're the last alpha male in the world?
No, I'm one of the last alpha
One
males.
of the last. The other ones would be, just give me a couple.
Steve Ballmer.
Yeah.
I
know you're a fan of Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, Donald, not full disclosure, I knew Donald in another lifetime.
Okay.
Donald Trump for sure.
Yeah.
Ken Langone, billionaire.
Uh-huh. You live in a castle in Scotland. How much is it worth?
If you believe the internet, 25 million pounds.
Yeah, we've looked it up. It was around about that. Is it true you don't care about anyone?
Other than my kids.
And your wife?
Wife and my 3 great dogs.
Yeah. I thought you didn't care about your kids. That's what you said in your videos.
No, just
you
because
said,
I'm not leaving.
care.
No, just because I'm not leaving them any money does not mean I don't care about them.
Okay.
I care about them
right.
because I'm not leaving them any money.
It's just that you said, I wouldn't care if the world blew up the day after I died.
Yes, I did say that.
Well, that's everybody in it. That's your
Well,
kids and wife.
okay.
Okay, you know what? Maybe you were just saying that to make a
No,
point.
maybe you made a point now.
Well, I don't know. Maybe,
Okay, that's one for you.
Well, okay, thank you very much. They said it was going to be a tough interview.
Oh, remember,
brought
why
it-
did I bring my cricket bat? Because they said it was going to be a tough interview and I needed security.
Yes.
So far, I don't need my cricket bat.
All right, so far. Too many people on the planet you wish they'd die. That's a genuine thought.
Correct.
Wow. Okay, your father beating you made you the man you are today.
Correct.
You believe that?
I absolutely categorically know it.
Okay, your father had a 56-inch chest, a 30-inch waist, and 18-inch arms.
Correct.
Basically, he was Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's how you remember it.
He was bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger.
All right. You've been in jail 5 times.
5, at least 5.
Okay, you tried to kill your teacher and you did choke out colleagues on Wall Street.
No, here in the city, London.
Oh. Uh-huh.
I never choked anybody out in the USA.
Okay, and you were with Bear Stearns at that time?
Correct.
Okay, and you're predicting a Black Swan event?
Correct.
Okay, we're going to get into that a bit later. And you fear Bitcoin is a Putin-inspired plot to bring down America?
No, I said that what are the 2 countries that benefit most from a destabilization of the US dollar? China and Russia.
I've heard you say if you knew who was behind Bitcoin, you'd run like crazy.
No, everybody knew who was really behind Bitcoin, it'd go to 0.
Ah. You'd get out of it as fast as you can. Why?
Well, I'm not going to tell you who I believe is behind it.
Okay, we'll come back to that, I have a feeling. Right, let's get to something where people have tried to discredit you. Perhaps you've noticed on the internet, perhaps you haven't. But people like you've been on Logan Paul, you've been on Josh Rogan, what's his name?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, right. And they've asked you, how did you make your money? And it took you a number of times to kind of get round to it. How did you make your money?
I made my money by taking my company, my idea, my dream, public in August the 10th, my 39th birthday of 1984.
This is Great Western Resources?
Correct.
Okay, but before that, you were in Wall Street.
Correct.
Right, so Wall Street, let's have a quick look at that. That's how you started out. 1977 to 81 with Bear Stearns.
Correct.
You were a high performer.
Correct.
Then in 1981, you were asked to leave Bear Stearns.
No, I left Bear Stearns.
These were your words. I was asked to leave Bear Stearns.
No, back up. I was asked to leave Bear Stearns because the transaction, the Salawati oil field that I brought them, that they didn't do, if you want to do that, Dan, you're going to have to leave. And that's why I left.
Okay, understood. It wasn't because of a failure.
No.
Okay, fine. Fine. Now, in 1981, the bank wanted to foreclose on your house.
Correct.
How is it you're a high performer at Bear Stearns, and in the same year, right at the end of that, you have
Because
people breathing down your neck to get you out of your house?
I've lived my whole life until I was 60 years old, spending 120% of every penny I made every year.
Right. This is your philosophy.
Correct.
Do not have a plan B.
No plan B.
And now you're spending...
Maybe my plan B is now going to come and do a show like yours.
If you can, you're welcome to it. So you moved from Bear Stearns. You're going to nearly get foreclosed on. In other words, evicted from your house. Is this in London?
No. The house was in California, and then the oil deal was in Oklahoma. It took several years for the oil deal to grow.
To come to fruition, right.
Correct.
So in 1982, you established the Great Western Resources.
No, Great Western Energy.
Great Western Energy, not GWR.
No.
Did you ever establish GWR?
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, okay, so Great Western Energy.
Correct.
Was that with the $800 loan?
Yeah, no, it wasn't an $800 loan. I put up $800, and my partner put up $200. And my partner, my first chairman, was the former Secretary of the Treasury under Eisenhower, a guy named Bob Anderson. He was my first chairman.
Right. And you turned that into a company worth $450 million.
When they tossed me out.
At its peak.
Correct.
When they what?
When they tossed me out.
Right. Well, this is the thing. This is the timeline I'm concerned about. 1990, Saddam Hussein invades Kuwait. GWE's value drops by 85% under your watch, right? Leaving it valued at around $67 million then. Okay, then you've got the Kuwaitis owning a big chunk of it, Fidelity, Bank of England, and others. What are you left with? Yeah, Church of England, Bank of England. What are you left with?
About 20 million shares.
About $20 million worth of shares?
Yes.
20 million. Okay, right. So 20 million, how does that make you someone who has hundreds of billions? When did you turn that 20 million into hundreds of millions?
Okay, well, the hundreds of millions came after. Came after.
And how was that made?
Oh, it was made from the same rolling up that I teach the meatheads here in the UK and around the world to do.
So you took that 25 million, you invested it wisely, and you made hundreds of millions. That's what you're saying. Okay. I'm a bit afraid to ask, but have you got evidence of that? Or
yeah, sure.
I don't see. I looked at your Wikipedia entry, and it's tiny. I expected it to be much, much bigger, considering all the things you say you've done. Big. Why is it this big?
Because then? Wikipedia, about the same time that I had not such nice things to say about Mr. Zuckerberg, when I got banned from Facebook and when I got banned from whatever else Zuckerberg controls, Wikipedia reduced my entry by 95%.
Right. Well, that's a different entity.
I know, but I'm just telling you the timeline.
Okay. And you've watched, of course, the testimony yesterday about Facebook and how dangerous they are for democracy, how dangerous they are for children. They are, okay.
And what I said in May 2019 on Vanity Fair magazine, Zuckerberg was quoted as saying, I'm unethical, but I can still stay legal. I posted that on Facebook. Within hours, I was banned.
Who was unethical? Zuckerberg?
Zuckerberg said it in a Vanity Fair article, May of 2019. I am unethical, but I still can be legal.
Right. That almost perfectly describes you. No, wait. The reason why I say that is because you started coaching in 1993, and so it's nearly 30 years now, right? It says here, I made $500 million in 6 or 7 years. I found it easy, so I stopped and started coaching in 1993. What kind of a man who worships money and the accumulation of money...
You got that wrong. I don't worship money. Money's not everything, but it's the only thing anybody keeps track of.
Yeah, I know, but if you think it's the only thing that people keep track of, people also keep track of good deeds.
I'm not part of that group. I'm not part of that
No, you're not. So therefore, you consider money the most important barometer of a man's success, I think. Is that true? Okay, so why didn't...
That's fair.
All right, well, you're living in a world now where your fortune is dwarfed by the likes of Bezos and Gates and everyone. Why didn't you just keep on going to make sure you were up there with the super billionaires?
It was never a goal of mine to be a billionaire. And I wanted to be able to... There's a lot of billionaires, right? There's 2,000 to 3,000 of them. What could I... And this is my thought process from 1990 to 1993. What could I do that would leave me a lasting legacy beyond just being a billionaire? And I came up with the idea, unannounced. I can create $1 trillion with the meatheads. Okay? When I create $1 trillion with the meatheads, with anybody.
Right. So
Okay.
you wanted a legacy
Correct.
that you...
And you can look on my website.
But you know
and
what you sound like?
What?
You sound like a philanthropist.
Well,
Has anyone ever called you that
absence
before?
of evidence is not evidence of absence.
Oh, look,
Now, it might take you a little while to figure that out.
I don't even want to enter into that verbal trickery. I'm interested in this. You are not a philanthropist, but what you've just described is philanthropy defined. You're saying, I don't want to accumulate billions. I want to help others accumulate money and realize their potential. That's rather nice of you.
Do they remember Socrates for what?
What do they remember him
Plato
for?
for what?
For educating Plato and Aristotle
Okay,
after him.
Okay.
The Socratic method of learning.
Correct,
Right.
correct. And this is exactly, you took the words right out of my mouth. This method of learning has been around since them. Them? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Those three guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And now it is known, it's not common knowledge, but is known through my teaching for the last 28 and a half years that you can be poor, start with zero, and earn tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and even billions. And I wanted to be left with that. So when the Martians come down someday, okay, they haven't come down, in my opinion, because we're meatheads. Okay. Why would they come now?
All right.
When they come down and they see your video, Nexus.
Yes.
Okay. And they see that little skinny gray-haired guy asking them those questions.
Yeah, yeah.
What did that guy
Yeah.
with the skinny gray hair leave the world?
Yes.
Nothing. What did Mr. Pena
Yeah.
leave him? He left
Yeah.
him a methodology, the QLA methodology, to create billions from nothing. Zero.
You, in your own words, you said your parents taught you that if you're a little kid playing with little Jimmy
That's
from
right,
next
kick him.
door,
Kick
and he
him.
has no toys, you have toys.
Oh. Screw him. Screw him.
If little Jimmy has no toys, don't lend him yours. You've got to be selfish in this
Yeah.
world.
If
this
I,
isn't selfish.
on my gravestone, I only want one word: selfish.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, you want me to believe that? You want me to believe that you're teaching people for money because you want them to be successful?
I don't care what you believe.
Yeah, I know, but it's a matter of whether or not you have credibility when you're bringing people to your
Well,
seminars.
well, I have a lot of credibility.
You're terrifying people. You're telling them to be selfish
I don't
and
want them
tough.
to come to my seminar. Most of them are going to fail. I tell them that. Do you do any stock
You tell
trading?
them worse than that.
Oh,
you
I
you
tell
tell
them
them
how
much worse than that. Let me get into it, okay? So you had, this is your own words. Last year, we had 4 or 5 attempted suicides in our program. It was a good year. What kind of barometer is that of success?
Well, I said that's almost a direct quote. But me saying there's 4 or 5, that means there was 4 or 5 people that were going to the very end of life, pushing themselves. We had probably 25 nervous breakdowns as well. They're giving it all.
And that's all you want them to do, isn't it?
Be all they
And
can be.
they've never pushed themselves that hard. And that's what you want.
We had a naval officer who his heart stopped pumping, his lungs shut down, his kidneys shut down. Oh, he was pronounced dead. And he came out, and I have a video of this. Came out and he said, Dan, you know, this deal wouldn't have got done without you. And I thought I saw a tear in your eye when they thought I was going to die. And then I responded, no. The tear in my eye was when I thought the deal wasn't going to get done.
Right. Right. Okay. But you are pushing people, and I think most people would say.
Brian Rose, just a minute.
Brian Rose.
Excuse me for interrupting.
No, it's all
Brian
right.
Rose never believed that people shit their pants in the seminar. Never believed that people their pants in the seminar. Never believed people go into seizures, pass out, blah, blah. Never. At the hardcore seminar 2 or 3 years ago, he's sitting there in a brand new suit made by my tailor.
Right.
And the guy next to him collapses, seizure all over his new suit, falls into him on the ground. And I said, Brian, now you believe me that people actually themselves and pass out here? And he said, I believe now, Dan. I believe now. The people come to me when they have not a penny left. They come on a one-way ticket.
So they take their final $20,000 and they put it all
Pounds.
on Pena. 20,000 pounds. All right.
No, they bet on themselves. They're not betting on me.
Well, they're betting on you
No,
bringing out the best in
the
them.
system works. All
Yeah.
my material is free on the website.
What percentage
Why,
of
I don't want them to come to the seminar.
what percentage of your meatheads actually do anything? And what percentage
Less than
of
2%.
Less than 2%. Right. Okay. Let me go back to the mental health of these people who you push very, very hard.
Well, you're not going to like my answers, but go ahead.
Fine. Well, let me.
It's going to be bad for your ratings.
One
for your
mentee-
PC ratings. Believe me, I'm warning you.
One mentee reported, right? He had a report, and it was titled, "What did I learn this week? I need to put a bullet in my head, but I can't even do that. Help me,
Correct.
Mr. Pena."
I can tell you who exactly. That's a PhD Mexican American from New Mexico.
Right. And what did you do to help him? Or did you say, yeah, I think you should put a bullet in your head?
In those days, we were still doing written reports. I wrote back to him, quit being a blank, blank, blank.
A softie, a snowflake.
Okay,
yeah.
snowflake,
Yeah.
and just keep pushing. You know you can do it.
And what happened to him?
Huh?
What happened to him?
He failed.
He failed, but he didn't.
He went back to
himself.
corporate world.
Okay, all right, fine. The thing is, the video, there is video rather, of you waving a gun around saying if you're going to do it right. We've had people
it's a
shoot.
prop gun.
No,
Prop. It's not
okay,
a real
but you used to
gun.
have a live one.
Yeah.
And then you say your lawyers tell you to say it's a metaphor, but you and I both know that you mean it in a real tough guy way. If you're going to do it right.
Right.
We've
Stick
had
it
people
out.
shoot their face off trying to commit suicide for this program, and then you go on to say, if you don't know how to slash your wrists, I'll show you.
Correct.
Well, what kind of advice is that?
It's real world advice. If you're going to pretend to be a newscaster, okay? If you're going to pretend to be an athlete, if you're going to pretend to be successful, and your goals, written goals for years and years, I want to be a multimillionaire, I want to be a billionaire, and you've never worked more than 40 hours a week, you're a pretender.
You don't mean these things, do you? They're not telling. You don't
you're
really
wrong.
mean that if they don't succeed, they should slash their wrists or shoot themselves. You don't mean that.
Well, I will neither
You just told me money's not everything.
It isn't everything, but I will neither confirm nor deny whether I murdered or not.
All right, fair enough. Can we turn?
I stand on the fifth.
Can we turn to? We're going to get to the black swan and we're going to get to Bitcoin, but I want to ask you about your personal life.
Okay.
Your father was a very tough man and a very strong disciplinarian.
Correct.
A man of principle.
Correct.
He once caught you shoplifting, and he
Yes.
right. It brings back memories even now.
It just sent a shiver up my back.
Yeah. It sends a shiver up everybody's back when they watch you say it. You were beaten severely
Correct.
until you were unconscious.
Correct.
But you feel for sure that this was out of love, and it made you the man you are
100%.
today. Well, you know, a lot of people would just say that's just scarred you, and all you become is an angry man.
I didn't say I wasn't angry.
Yeah, but it's scarred. So wait,
If this interview is trying to prove that I'm angry,
No. But there's no contradiction between saying you're a scarred, angry man and your father caused it, but it was all good.
it was good.
Okay, right.
Good for me.
Okay, fine.
If my kid brother was here, he would tell you, and he did at my 70th birthday, amongst a bunch of other things, if Dad had beat me more like he beat my big brother Danny, I would have been more successful.
Been more successful. Okay, so let's go to the two things that you want to bring up in particular. The Black Swan event that's coming. Tell us what is a Black Swan event. What are we going to expect? What's coming?
Interest rates are at 5,000-year lows, on the one hand. On the other hand, we have monetary easing around the world. Not all over the world, but almost all around the world. In fact, some of the monetary easing ended today or yesterday or tomorrow here. Okay.
So we're talking about massive inflation?
Yeah.
Okay.
A year ago, when the Federal Reserve and the Bank of England said that inflation was going to be transitory, I knew they were full of you-know-what.
Yeah.
Okay. We're now a year into it, and now inflation isn't going to be transitory. It's going to be long-lasting.
Which the consequences of which are higher interest rates?
Hyperinflation. In the last 12 to 15 months, the cost of building a home here in the UK, in the United States, and in Canada is up 30%, roughly. The cost of food is up between 30 and 60% in those same areas, geographic areas I just mentioned. And now people are being able to decide whether they come to work in the office or stay at home, okay? It is now beginning, the numbers are coming in, that they're not as effective at home. That's one of the reasons, number one. Number two, they're not only not effective, when they don't come to the office, they're not spending more money, okay?
In the broader economy.
In the broader economy, et cetera. The margin debt, which I'm going to segue into Bitcoin in a second. Margin debt is the highest ever. It's higher than the crash of 29. It's higher than the financial crisis of 2008. It's about 900 billion. Bitcoin, 95% of Bitcoin is bought on margin, borrowed money. And one of the reasons the swings are so great is because it's purchased almost on borrowed money. When the millennials, or the group that are the Bitcoin purchasers, have to come up with cash to supplement their lifestyle because they're not getting it in the other way, it is going to drive Bitcoin down. Now, I'm not suggesting that anybody's going to say who's the real founder of Bitcoin. I don't know if that'll ever come out, okay? Because I'm certainly not going to tell anybody what I think. But when China shuts down Bitcoin, when China has pictures of them crushing servers on the internet, when China is restricting, let's just say it was China that started Bitcoin. They started it to disrupt the US and UK economy, but it's now disrupting their economy.
Right.
So they're getting...
So it's time to pull the plug.
Correct.
And the Black Swan event is hyperinflation.
Correct.
Dan Pena, that's all we have time for, I'm afraid. Thank you so much. I'm glad you didn't unsheath the cricket bat. Thank you very much for coming onto The Nexus. And thank you at home and on your phones for watching. Remember, if you want to see this episode or any of our previous episodes, do go to our channel on YouTube. Just type in Nexus TRT World. Until next week, then, goodbye.